Hello, I'm Incarnate, bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Today we're looking at the game Loot Hero DX by Varag P, the developer behind the excellent cow clicker titles Plantera and Tap Heroes. If you haven't checked those games out, please have a look at my previous reviews. Loot Hero DX is another cow clicker game and was created before the games Plantera and Tap Heroes, and it shows. There's a lot of the polish and graphical quality missing in this game that was in his later titles, but I want to try and judge this game on its own merits rather than trying to compare it to those games. Before we go into the review, let's have a look, like we always do for all indie games, at the options menu and the menu for the game itself. The options menu is reached via the button in the top left, and there are three options here. A slider for the music, a slider for the sound effects, and an option for windowed or full screen view. These are not present in any of Varag P's later games, and I'm not sure why he took these out. It was actually one of my pain points with some of his titles where we couldn't adjust the sound, and a problem for indie games in general. Now, that's pretty much it for the options. Very simple, but all the basic options that we need for a game at this time. You have 3 character slots, and you can see my character is here. He's level 33. You have your level, the amount of money you've got, and also your experience. Let's get into the game, and I'll show you a little bit more about it. And here we are in the first level of the game. You control your nameless hero by holding down the mouse button in the direction that you wish for them to move. The character will then move with their polearm outstretched and will attack enemies continually until they or he go down. When an enemy dies, they will give you money and also experience, which you use at one of these stores. When you reach one of these stores, your health will be regenerated, and you will have the option to use the money that you've gathered in order to upgrade your character's abilities. There are 4 abilities for your character: the attack, which increases their attack damage, critical hit chance, the defense, which determines how much damage they take from enemies, and their movement speed. All of these abilities are shown in the character statistics to the right hand side of the screen here. Below here you have a speed adjustment slider. This is very important because this game is very grindy. Later on in the game, the enemies get very tough, and the only way you're going to get past them is to go back to earlier levels and continue to complete them to earn the money and experience you need to upgrade your character. This is made easier by adjusting the speed slider to make your character's speed faster, and it makes the grinding a little bit more easy. As you can see, my character is moving very fast at the moment and is earning a lot of money. Now, this can't be done on a later level because obviously the chance of you dying could be quite high. I also don't recommend you do this if you have epilepsy, because this is giving me a headache to look at. I'm going to change my character speed back to normal because that is actually a little bit painful to look at. I generally have the character move at around a speed of 5. That's a little bit more manageable. Leave it at 4. There we go. So this is pretty much it for the gameplay. You move from one side of the screen to the other, you kill enemies, you collect experience and money, and you upgrade your character accordingly. If you progress further to the right, you'll see the boss. Defeating the boss completes the level, and you'll get a bit of money experience. Let's look at the next level. Now, my first gripe with the game is the enemies. The enemies don't come from any direction. They simply remain stationary and await you to approach them. They will only attack you when you start attacking them. I think the developer should have at least had the enemies move from the right hand side of the screen. This is a staple for most 2D side-scrolling games, and definitely should have been been in this game. My next gripe with the game is that there is a very limited character development in this game. Your main character has no alternate attacks, no special abilities, no alternate weapons, and there are no other characters to play. Similarly, upgrading your character at the store does not give them any special abilities or any additional ways to attack enemies. It simply makes the character tougher and deal out more damage and to be able to take more damage from enemies. Which means that you're really only ever going to be attacking enemies one way, which is just to be hitting them, earning money, and using that money to upgrade your character. This is going to be a problem because the game gets very repetitive, and most players, even younger players, are not going to be playing this game very long. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention with the game is the graphics. So the graphics in this game are obviously very simplistic, but I feel that they're a little bit too low quality. The main character is very heavily pixelated. The enemies are also very heavily pixelated and hard to make out. Obviously this is a rat of some sort on a cat. I don't know, because you can't really tell the details of the enemies or your knight. You can only just roughly make them out. Now, I only mention this because we've just got another achievement. I only mention this because later games the developer really got the art style down pat, and for other games such as Plantera, the art was very, very nice and very, very colourful and very detailed compared to this game. Now, in terms of the longevity of the game value, there are 100 levels in this game. Now, there are also only 10 levels in the actual game, culminating in your fight with the dragon at the very end of the game. When you complete the game, you start the game again, and in a harder difficulty, and you keep repeating. So you actually have to finish the game 10 times in order to finish it properly. Now, in terms of people actually finishing this game 10 times, I don't think there's enough variety and replay value in order to justify playing the game 10 times. But I definitely think that people will enjoy this game for a few hours at least. In terms, finally, of value for money, this game is available on Steam right now for 99 cents. And for the type of game this is, I can recommend it for that. What does this game do right? This game is marketed to one particular group, children. And the developer has done this very well. Older people are not going to enjoy this game because it's very simple. There's not a lot here, and beyond a few hours, they're probably going to get bored. But this game is perfect for kids. The reason why it's perfect for kids is because the graphics are simple and colourful. The gameplay is nice and easy because there's not complex controls, there's not alternate characters or different attacks to learn. All you have to do is hold down the mouse and attack enemies and earn money. So kids are going to actually love this. Now, with all of my other games, I usually try and find games for kids on Steam, and I simply cannot find them because there just aren't a lot of games on Steam, and that's why I think so highly of this game. It fulfills a niche market. Despite its problems, there really aren't many competitors to this game on Steam at the moment. So, I have to recommend this game. I recommend it for anyone who has young children and is looking for a nice, easy game for them to play on Steam, something that they can enjoy. What I do recommend, though, is if you are looking for a game for younger players, I recommend that you actually try Varag P's later titles, Plantera and Tap Heroes that I've mentioned before, because these games are more polished than this game. They are later games in the series. The graphical quality is a lot better. The gameplay is more enjoyable, and in the case of Plantera, it's a cow clicker, which is done a lot better than this. It's not a combat style game, but I feel that Plantera is definitely the best of the series, best of the games of this developer. So I recommend this. I recommend this game to anyone who has young children, anyone who has any kids that if they're looking for games on Steam for kids that are colourful, easy to play, and appealing to kids. I definitely recommend this game, but I do recommend you try the other titles before you try this, because I feel that this is probably the weakest of Varag P's titles. I recommend you try Plantera first before you try this game. But other than that, hardly recommend this game. It has a few flaws, but again, it's a niche market. There's not many other games that are like this. So for that reason alone, I have to recommend this game. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10 because of its niche market, because there's not many games like this. But I also can't rate it as highly as the other games later on from the same developer, which were more polished. So if you liked this series, please subscribe, and hopefully we will see you for the next review. Skill Incarnate out.